So many people take animated films for granted. I've met a bunch of reptilians who don't like animated films because they say, oh, they're for kids, they're not real, they're fake, and those people are just cold-blooded. I think animation can possibly, if not more, be more impactful than, regular films and regular genre films. That animation is not just a genre, it's a style of storytelling that has a bunch of genres within it. So I decided to follow up on Movies with Mikey's playlist of the lessons animation taught us. And if you haven't checked out this dude, I recommend him just because of how infectious his positivity is. I mean, his channel is called freaking Film Joy, but I recommend his John Wick video if you haven't seen any of his stuff. I know, it's the most violent one, but I just love the way that he breaks things down. So in terms of the animation question, he's been doing this playlist. I'm going to follow up on it, but with it also being the Friday show, I obviously tweeted it out because I want your guys' input on what animation impacted you guys the most. You guys went deep. And if you're a YouTuber, doesn't matter the size of your channel, go ahead and make one. I think that he's like compiling a whole playlist of it. So as long as you tag him, you can put it down below in the comment section, your link for your video. It could be any animation, anything that taught you anything from Disney to Pixar to... And I think that one of the biggest animations that impacted me as a kid was Toy Story, without a doubt. If you followed this channel for any amount of time, you would know that that's one of my favorite movies. It's in my top 2 favorite animations of all time. And it wasn't until later that I probably realized the subconscious attachment to it that I had, since I'm the oldest and that movie came out the year my brother was born. And maybe I was like Woody, being jealous of the new toy that's disturbing the force, that I connected with him a bit. And one of the earliest stories that I can think of that goes along with that, and don't judge me, but supposedly back when we were like 4 years old, my brother was like 2 years younger than me, we were out on a porch and the porch had like a stoop, and allegedly I kind of pulled a Woody on him and just like kicked him out of the stoop. Supposedly I then just like ran into the house because I thought it was like a Cain with Abel type of scenario. I thought he was dead. So I like OJ'd it and said that I found him that way. Then it turns out that that's just a story I was told. My brother actually thought he was Buzz Lightyear and that he could fly, so he just decided to test that out, and he was fine. The kid, he's cracked his head from a TV, he's fallen off a horse, cracked his head. He's good now. He's an accountant. And I'm not a serial sibling killer. But if anything, Toy Story taught me just that new people coming into your life isn't a bad thing. Change isn't bad. That not everything's gonna be about you. And that your brother, like the song says, can be your best friend. Now, of course, Finding Nemo is easily my second, if not tied for the best animation that plays a crucial role in my life, to the point that I'm staying in that Disney Nemo suite this summer. Shout out to Shavonda and Destiny. And as I've said multiple times, this is the movie I've seen the most times in theaters. I literally would just sit there with a bucket of buttered popcorn, and the moment those credits rolled, I literally would just get up, stretch for a bit, sit back down and be like, Maria Menounos, wherever you gotta play, just get this bad boy rolling again. I was obsessed with this movie, and one of the reasons I saw it so many times, ironically, was because of my dad, who I would go to the movies with all the time. He would do this thing where we would like print out the schedule for the theater to see where the theaters were going to be, what time the showtime ended, so we could literally just go to the next theater. I know. It's freaking genius. But I've learned over the years, not only, get a movie pass, pay for your tickets, but looking back on it, realizing that my dad's perception of being a good father was that he would go see the rated R movies. I was like, that's why I watched Finding Nemo 7 times. Now, I'm sure that a therapist can like make the connection of me being so obsessed with this movie because it was the story of a father who actually cared for his kid and was willing to never separate himself from the child. And when he did lose him, he was willing to go through all the dangers and across the world in order to actually find him because he loved him. And they would be right. Of course, there's a bunch of other movies out there that definitely define my childhood, and all of them hold a special place in my heart. But if I were to give one more suggestion, it would be Coco. Obviously, because I'm a beaner, and that's literally the only reason why I love it. But I have read articles saying that there's really good subplots going on, especially one dealing with grudges and the afterlife, especially with two characters who, it wasn't until they met at that place that they were finally able to forgive each other and learn that they really love each other. And when you connect that to real life and realizing that we don't live in a Pixar fantasy world, that maybe those little grievances, those grudges that you have should be fixed before you lose those people. But that's just like for like intellectuals or whatever. I liked it because it had conchas and chanclas. But now I want to read the ones that you guys had sent in, if I don't like die from this Chicago heat. But you guys have sent a bunch, so I obviously can't cover all of them, but there was some that really stood out to me that you guys are like, So this is a quick montage of the ones that I thought really stood out. We got Aladdin, that a kid from the streets can become a king. All dogs go to heaven, and it taught me that films for kids don't always have to be just positive, and that when we die, we can either go to heaven or to hell. Hashtag I had a great childhood. Anomalisa still impacts me in almost every way. The exploration of depression and boredom is masterfully done, and it feels so human. It teaches us about individuality shining through in a plain world and enjoying the small and unique things, something we all need to do. It also taught some of us that animated sex can be very, very uncomfortable. Mask of the Phantasm taught me that revenge and justice are not the same thing. Brother Bear is a completely underrated movie. It taught me to find empathy for others even when you feel you're full of hatred. Also, it began my unabashed moose obsession. Coco. I've been a pretty whitewashed Mexican American, not wanting to learn Spanish or listen to Mexican music, but after watching Coco, I regretted those decisions, and I knew if this movie came out when I was younger, I would have wanted to partake in this culture more. Damn. I know a lot of people like that. The Emperor's New Groove. Style over everything, and putting away your ego is the key to friendship. But mostly style over everything. Probably Fantasia. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and as the only animated movie that my grandparents owned, it was one of the few things that I share with my grandpa as a kid. To this day, I still say it's my favorite animated film. Ghost in the Shell taught me a lot about identity and what it means to be an individual, what makes you unique and different from anyone else. Not only that, but it also taught me that animations can be so much more than children's cartoons. How to Train Your Dragon, sticking to your values, sense of what's right, even though others constantly tell you you're wrong. The Incredibles taught me that you shouldn't put your heroes on such a high pedestal, because if you find out that they aren't who you thought they were, that can hurt you. Like getting sucked into a plane fan. Inside Out, just because it reminds me so much of my own childhood and the absence of so many childhood memories. It's also so whimsically explores the idea of emotions and the mind and how people, especially kids, can understand and perceive it all. The Iron Giant, there's just so much to it. It's a social commentary on Cold War, paranoia, and nonviolence, but that's not what impacted me. What did was the theme of choosing your own path and choosing to protect those who persecute you. You are who you choose to be, Superman. The Lego Movie showed me that there is never only one solution and that being the bad guy is a choice. Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorites. It taught me Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. The Lion King teaching 5-year-old me that I'm gonna die eventually was pretty heavy. Again, I have to go with Monsters U, because it taught college kids that sometimes you're just not meant to accomplish your dream no matter how hard you damn. Paddington 2 teaching me how much I love and appreciate my mom, even more than Lady Bird. Perfect Blue. Never live your life for anyone else, not even the people who admire you the most, because everyone's gonna have that image of what you should be in their eyes. Ratatouille taught me that even if I'm not necessarily great at something, it's still worth trying. Scooby-Doo taught me everyone is a snake, and exposing them is the only way to teach them a lesson. True. Shrek 2 subconsciously taught me that changing yourself for people who already love you is ineffective and can lead to trouble. Also, it's funny as hell and the best out of the series. Facts. Spirited Away taught me patience, how far animation design storytelling can be pushed to dream up incredible visuals, and the challenges you face when growing up and finding yourself. 100% sure it was one of those films that made me decide to pursue a career in animation. Oh, could I also have a birthday shout out? Happy birthday, Lucy. The Emoji Movie. It hurt me to watch, and it taught me that studios don't give a damn about a movie, all they want is... The Hunchback of Notre Dame teaches me it's not what you look like, but what you do that matters. The Little Prince. Watched it recently and cried about 4 times. Don't take away a kid's childhood because you want them to be successful. Up's first 10 minutes taught me that Pixar feeds on the tears of society's youth. Wall-E showed 8-year-old me that you can show emotion without saying anything. It's still one of the best films ever. Kind of a trick answer, Winnie the Pooh. It taught me that there is such a thing as an optimistic and happy childhood, but sometimes bullying and other things can take it away as they did for me. Yo, Diego, I'm here for you. And finally, your name. Sometimes the most important thing is just to say, I love you. And that's the beauty of all of these different responses. As I said in the beginning, animation isn't just cartoons, animations tell real stories. They vary in themes, and animation, just like any other medium, is just another way to express things that you might not even be able to in live action, because it doesn't matter that it's fake, as long as what it makes you feel is real. Thank you guys for checking out this video. Like I said, definitely feel free to make your own video. Tell me your favorites in the comments. You know, go hit up Mikey's channel and tell him A to Z sent you. Definitely add your own to this whole animation and how they shaped your life and stuff, because it's pretty cool. Big shout out as always to the patrons. I appreciate you guys. Shout out to Marcus Theaters, the ones who I used to sneak into all the time with my dad, and now they're sponsors. And just thank you to you guys who watch all of these videos. You know, if I love my patrons the way I love Toy Story, then all of you guys who, you know, just comment, share, and leave a like, you guys, the reason why I'm at 200,000 subs, you guys are like Finding Nemo to me. You know, it's just as equal. So thank you guys for watching. Plug again for the new music channel. It's Yeezy season, so you know there's gonna be a bunch of album review stuff that I'm gonna put over there. Still the A to Z substance, what we can learn here on A to Z. But that Hear Me Out channel is something that I've been working on to, you know, just get albums, and you know the Bleach lines kind of is gonna be talking about. So definitely go check that over there. Just, you know, creating more content for you guys, creating that A to Z trinity with the 3 channels, just to create more stuff. Which for the patrons out there, you can support all 3 for just $1, and that's more magical than Pixar to me.